It's Freewave the Scientist here. We got Forest Synth, which is a style of dungeon synth just completed this last week. And it's a bit more of an ambient style, as if you were lost in a forest, but hearing this D&D sounds of dungeon synth along with that. And if you're not familiar with dungeon synth, it's a pretty big genre at this point, but it's also really underground. And both of these are attached to Instagram and Twitter, but as always, they're also on our box set you can find in the traditional way. If you check out our dungeon synth set, I cover the basics of the genre before it really started splitting out. And it really didn't have that name back in the day when it was created, but it was an aesthetic of black metal in the mid-90s. It was sometimes called dark medieval, neoclassical, dark ambient. But this underground metal scene of the 90s provided musicians with the chance to record music at home with synths and not guitars. DIY recordings with tape trade scene, very lo-fi production, its own unique qualities. And dungeon music appeared out of the desires of musicians to continue their exploration into the atmospheres and landscapes with synthesizers. Dungeon music would celebrate the worlds of fantasy and speculation at a slower pace and with more of a regal disposition. Now, it's really taken off in the last 10 years that people have given it a name and talked about it, and it's split off in many different directions, mainly thanks to Bandcamp and blogs. But this goes through the basic set, starting with Mortis in 1994, Zuzu, Cernunnos Woods, Ungraven, Dolch and Depressive Silence, Secret Stairways, Forgotten Pathways, Gothmog, Japertit, and of course the infamous Burzum, who wrote while in prison for killing another person. But this is big Dungeons and Dragons style music. Very lo-fi, very underground. And again, when you have a metal genre is exclusive to the synthesizer, it's an interesting crossover. And we are just finishing this up. There's lots of different styles. Dungeon chiptune, dungeon noise, pumpkin synth, monk synth, mushroom synth, cosmic synth, vampiric synth, sea synth, dungeon rap, dino synth, barbarian synth, winter synth, dwarven synth, comfy synth, and finally forest synth, which is one of the bigger styles, but we've been waiting for a while. And we still got more. We've got dungeon drone, garden synth, kabuki ambient. All of these genres have their own set. We go over all the essentials of these playlists on YouTube, or mixes on YouTube under one single video. I hope you check it out if you've ever heard of this, or if you're a fan and you just haven't gotten this far deep into it or had a guide to go along. But like always, rate your music box set. We've got your genres covered here for all you genre nerds. Check it out.